So many communal losses, so many collective losses, so many national losses. 5784 was a painful year for Am Yisrael, for the Jewish people. We make room for that type of communal loss in our Yizkor service, as we just demonstrated. We mourn the martyrs of Israel, and this year, sadly, we've added a heartbreaking number to that already horrifyingly long list. But Yizkor is also about personal loss. I want to share a bit about my personal loss with you today. Even though it's my family story, I think in many ways it's your story as well. This past Rosh Hashanah, 10 days ago, I commemorated the 25th yahrzeit of my beloved mother, Hermine Davis Zweiback. It probably won't surprise you to hear me say that my mother was an amazing human being. Lots of people think that about their moms. But my mom was special. She was funny, and she was sweet. She was smart. She could talk to anyone, and she would. One of her most beautiful traits was finding that one person at a gathering who was feeling alone and engaging him or her in a meaningful and deep conversation. During the week of my mother's Shiva, at least a dozen women came up to me and in a quiet voice said, "You know, your mom was my best friend." The other day, perhaps in an attempt to avoid working on my High Holy Day sermons, I did some cleaning up around the house. I found a box of photos and other keepsakes that my sister had mailed me years ago. In the box was this little journal. I didn't recognize it at first, but it took me just an instant to figure out what it was. It's my mom's gratitude journal from the last month of her life. This little book teaches me a lot about my mother, but also a lot about living and dying. And I think it can help all of us remember those we have loved and lost. There are just 10 entries in the book. She died much too soon to fill it up all the way, but I know she could have 1,000 times over. She overflowed with gratitude. Only the first few entries are in her hand. By then, she was sleeping much of the day and simply didn't have the strength to write. The rest were dictated by her to members of the family. The longest entry is the first. It's one that she wrote. It's mostly just a list of names, the people she loved, and some of the things they said to her or taught her or did for her, like this one. Carol Ann Farber, book, wonderful note. Carol Ann was one of my mom's close friends, and she obviously gave my mom a book. And it had a kind note attached. And that small gesture so touched my mother's heart that it made the first page of her gratitude book. Line 10 of that same entry says simply, "Flowers, Lou Berger and Clarkson Executive Staff, Kim and Jim Simon." Dr. Lou Berger was the head of the hospital where my dad used to work, the hospital where my mom was receiving treatment for her lung cancer. They obviously sent her flowers, and this touched her. Kim and Jim are here with us today, friends so close that they've become family. The flowers they sent my mom made the gratitude book. There's a whole list of phone calls, people reaching out to check in, just to tell her they loved her. Fifi, Rita, Maxine, Sarah, and then it says Deborah times 10,000. Deborah's my aunt. She's here too. My mom's only sibling. And apparently she called my mom about 10,000 times every day. So here's a lesson from my mom's gratitude journal. People are touched by these small things. They really matter. A card, a book, a kind note, flowers, they actually make a difference. We should remember this, and this should inspire us to reach out to friends and family who need our support and our love. And when others do this for us, let's remember to be grateful. We should each keep our own gratitude journal and write these kindnesses in it. There's a beautiful entry here written by my Aunt Deborah. It's not something that my mom dictated. Rather, it's something that she wrote apparently so my mom would remember it and be conscious of it. You will have your strength back, it says. The epidural will take care of your pain. Now, Aunt Deborah is a registered nurse. She knew exactly what my mom was facing and how bad, especially then, 25 years ago, the odds were. But she wrote my mom, you will have your strength back. And then she wrote, try the Shema, slowly and repeat, we love you. Don't give up. Hold on to hope and have a mantra to fall back on. Try the Shema, slowly and repeat, and never forget, you are loved. There's a second entry in my mom's hand. I can see how much strength she drew from members of her family who showed her how to face illness with grace and dignity. Right here, she wrote, Nana, brave Nana, alone with her union prayer book, so spiritual, so strong. Nana was my mother's grandmother, Fanny Levinson. I spoke about her last Rosh Hashanah, you might remember. And here she is with my grandmother, Julia, and my mom in about 1945. Fanny died in 1974. I actually got to meet her. But there she is, 25 years later, in my mom's gratitude journal, because in the end, what matters more to us than family? There's an entry in my hand from August 6th, 1999. This one she clearly dictated to me. It starts, I'm grateful. And then a bullet point list of a few things she was grateful for that day. My favorite one, I'm grateful, my mom said, Jacqueline's pregnant. My mom never got to meet Isa or Ariella or Nomi. But I find comfort in the knowledge that she knew that new life was coming. She knew she would have another grandchild, even if she wouldn't be able to hold that baby herself. And there's another lesson. We can find great comfort in our ability to see beyond ourselves. Every single one of us in this room is, spoiler alert, going to die. None of us are getting out of this world alive. Knowing this, we might at times be tempted to just give up. What is the point of it all? But by and large, we don't. For a whole host of reasons, including the understanding that people we care deeply about and future generations that they care about will survive us. I find comfort in that knowledge. I won't be here forever, but some small echo of me will. The last entry in my mom's gratitude journal is in my sister's handwriting. It's short and to the point. August 20th. I'm thankful for Rosie's cheese tortilla. And then on the next line, for Abby. Now, this is seemingly absurd. My big sister Rosie, sitting right there, she obviously made Mom a cheese tortilla the night before for dinner. It must have been some tortilla to make the gratitude journal. And the apparent absurdity on the next line is simply for Abby. Abby is my niece, my sister's youngest child. This photo is from a few months earlier when my mom was doing much better. And that's Abby on my mom's lap. And that little blonde boy, of course, will grow up to be our inspiring basso profundo, Joe Hack. On August 20th, 1999, the date of this entry, Abby was 10 months old. Her visits to Omaha with my sister gave my mom such joy, such satisfaction. Towards the end, a visit from a grandchild was about the only thing that would elicit a smile from my mom. Cheese tortilla on this side of the scale, beloved granddaughter on the other. And even more absurd, seemingly, at this point in my mom's illness, she wasn't really eating anything. So when she told my sister that she was grateful for her cheese tortilla, it wasn't really about the cheese tortilla. She was saying, "You matter to me. You cooked something for me. You love me. And that's all I need." And this tells you pretty much everything you need to know about my mom. But it also teaches us something so important about how we might live our lives so that they will be worthy of being remembered. When we think about the people we miss, the people we recall at moments like this at Yizkor, it's overwhelmingly the people we love deeply and who loved us deeply in return. That's who we remember above all else. The people who wrote us those nice cards and sent us the flowers we both knew would soon fade away and then be tossed away. But that small token of their love for us was everything. We remember the people who baked us casseroles and cheese tortillas and the people who gave us life and made our lives worth living. My mom's gratitude book is essentially just the names of the friends and family who loved her. In the end, what else do we have? What else could we want? What else makes life worth living? So take some time now to think about those people, to give thanks for the gift of their lives. Take a few minutes to make for yourself a Yizkor gratitude list inscribed with the names of the ones you have loved.